Okay, so here is the practice final exam. First question, factor that completely. Okay, so what's the first step? Whenever they say factor, first do the GCF. So what's the GCF? We can take out 3x. 3x goes into all of them. What three things does it leave inside? 3x times what will go back to 3x cubed, x squared. And 3x times what will go back to 30x squared, 10x. Put that back there. Let me see here. 10x. And what goes last? 3x times what? 3x times 21 will go back to 63x. Okay, now, can we go further after we've done that? Yeah, because we can say what two numbers multiply to be 21, add to be 10. You can do the diamond thing. What multiplies to be 21, adds to be 10, 3 and 7. So, x plus 3, x plus 7. There we go. All right, next one. First step again is GCF. That's like this was the GCF. What goes into all three of those? 5, let's put up here. 5y. That leaves 5y times what, and what? To go back to y cubed, 5y times y squared, and the next one minus 4y, because that'll make minus 20y squared, and the next one minus 15, because 5y times minus 15 will go back to minus 75y. And now, can we factor that one further? I don't think so. You know, what multiplies to be minus 15 adds to be minus 4? What times what? Oh, wait a minute. Did I blow this one? Yeah, this is supposed to be 3y squared there, isn't it? 5 times 3 goes back to 15. I got to be a little more careful. Okay, yeah, here. Let me back up a little bit and do a more faithful job on this one. Let's try this again. So, again, starting from the beginning, what goes into these guys is 5y, that's the GCF. 5y goes in all three of those, and then 5y times 3y squared would go back to 15y cubed, minus 5y times 4y would go back to minus 20y squared, and 5y times minus 15 would go back to minus 75y. Now, how do we factor what's left? Remember, this is slide and divide. When you have a number right here, you got to multiply the number at the back. So that'll become y squared minus 4y minus 45. And then you say, okay, what multiplies to be minus 45 adds to be minus 4. What times what's 45? 5 times 9 makes 45. Remember, the sign on the bottom goes on the bigger. So it's minus 9 plus 5 will add to be negative 4 and multiply to be negative 45. So then I go, okay, y plus 5, y minus 9. But then you got to go back and divide by the 3. So you take that the break because you multiplied by that 3 to begin with. So now you divide them all. Whoops, not there. Just in the back, Just divide by 3. Now that one's just y minus 3, right? 9 over 3 is just 3. This one can't reduce, so what should you put the 3 right there, remember? 3y plus 5, and don't forget the 5y that was in the front. He comes down. He's part of the deal also. So there it is, 5y, 3y plus 5, y minus 3. Like that, we factored that one completely. Slide and divide. So you slide this to the back, and at the end you divide both of them by 3. This one reduces, so it's just 3. This one can't reduce. When they can't reduce, they go to the front. They're going to go away one way or the other. They try to divide in. If not, they go to the front. Okay, number 3 here, again, we're going to factor. GCF is always the first step. What comes out of both those? 4 and y, huh? So what's that leave inside? 4y times what would go back to this? Use your calculator, it would be 16x squared, and 4y times minus 1. Okay, so now we've done that. Now, the 4y stays in the front. What do you think we can do with 16x squared minus 1? What do we do when we have 2 terms? That's only 2 terms. See, on the last problem, we had 3 terms, and that's always, you know, slide and divide, or right here, again, we had 3 terms, and so that's the diamond thing. But when you only have 2 terms, what do? Double, double. This is 4x times 4x. This is 1 times 1. Remember that? So you do the 2 parentheses. 4x's in the front, because 4x times 4x is 16x squared. And 1 times 1, 1 plus 1 minus, positive 1 times negative 1 makes negative 1. And there we go. So 2 terms, we do what's called double, double. At least that's what I call it. Double, double. 2 terms in our factorization. Okay, good. Let's come on down here now and to number 4, and we will factor. So how do we factor this? First off, it's a double double. 2x's. Oh, there's nothing in common. 8, 8. So that'll factor as x plus 8, x minus 8, because that'll make x squared in the front and minus 64 in the back. Over. Now, how do we factor this? That's the diamond. Let me try that one. What multiplies? You multiply to be minus 32, adds to be minus 4. What times what is 32? 8 times 4, huh? And sign on the bottom goes on the bigger. Minus 8 plus 4, those add to be negative 4. Multiply to be negative 32, so that's x minus 8. X plus 4. So we get to there. Okay, now what can we cancel from here? Can we cancel anything? Yeah, x minus 8, x minus 8, x plus 4, x plus 4. What are we left with? X plus 8 all over x. We can't cancel anymore. Can't cancel. By the way, you cannot cancel those x's like that. Why not? Well, because remember, pluses and minuses are like Costco glue. So that x plus 8 on the top is a glued package, which means you can only cancel. If you could cancel the whole thing, fine, but you can't cancel just part of it. It's like shopping at Costco. You got to buy the whole package or nothing. Pluses and minuses glue things together, make them all or nothing. So let me put this back as it was. So I can't take just the x. You can't take part of the package. Pluses and minuses glue them together. See how right here I took the whole package, and right here I took the whole package? That's fine. But you can't take part of a plus or minus package. It's all or nothing. I can't take it all, so I take nothing. There's my final answer. Can't cancel those x's. Okay, number 5 here. They already have a common denominator, x minus 9. So I'll put them together. You got to be a little careful here. When you subtract, that minus sign's got to go to both. That's the big mistake a lot of people make. So it'll be minus 49x. That most people get that, but then it's also minus on the 27, you see. So you got to watch out for that. Okay. So what does that give us? 5x squared minus 7x plus 49. Isn't that minus 42x? Just combine like terms right there in the middle. Minus 27 over x minus 9. Now, can we factor further? I think so. So what we're going to do, we got to factor. We're going to have to factor this top. How am I going to factor it? Number in the front, slide and divide. Remember that? So push that to the back. So that's what's 5 times 105. So I'm going to do my diamond. So I'm going to make that. What am I going to make that? It's going to become x squared minus 42x minus 135. So I'm saying what multiplies to be minus 135, and adds to be the middle number, adds to be minus 42. Well, this is not easy. The way you do this is you take the 135 on the side with your calculator and you divide by 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You just keep dividing. Divide by 2, it doesn't even go. Divide by 3, what is it? It's, is it 45? Yeah, and ask yourself, can 3 and 45 make 42? Yeah, they can. So 3 and 45. Sign in the bottom goes in the bigger. So plus 3 minus 45 adds to be minus 42. They multiply to be minus 135. So that's my pair. Okay, so what is, so I got it right away. So what do I do now with that? Remember, the top becomes x plus 3. Well, here, let me write it over here. I'm kind of running out of room. It becomes x plus 3, x minus 45. That's the slide, but now we got to divide by the 5. So go over 5. Here, I'll change the color just so you remember. Got to divide by this 5. So we divide by 5, divide by 5. Now, if it divides, like that one divides, then you just do it, x minus 9. This one doesn't divide, so it slides back to the front. 5x plus 3. You see that? So there's that one. So we factored it. After all that, that's the top. So this top, bring it back over here. This top factored is 5x plus 3, x minus 9 over the bottom is still the same, x minus 9. Let me get this out of the way here. All right, after all that factoring, these cancel, and the answer is just 5x plus 3. It's a hard one. Okay, so on this one now, we're trying to add two fractions. We're going to need to get common denominators. So we multiply this one by x minus 6. Basically, you multiply by the other denominator. Multiply the other one, top and bottom, by 7x. So we multiply them by each other's denominator. And so what will that give us? That will give us 6 times x minus 6 plus 5 times 7x over the common denominator, 7x, x minus 6, right? They both have the same denominator. Okay, so let's gather some like terms. Boom, boom. What are we going to get? We're going to get 6x minus 36 plus 35x. And then the bottom I'm just going to leave unchanged. You only multiply out the top. Gather like terms. 6x and 35x. It's 41x minus 36 over 7x times x minus 6. Yeah, we don't mess with it. Once we get the common denominator in the bottom, we just leave it. So there we go. There's our answer on that one. Okay, so we need to factor this denominator. If you do the diamond on it, you know what multiplies to be minus 5 adds to be 4. Like that. What times what's 5? 1 times 5. How do you get add to be plus 4? Sign in the bottom goes in the bigger. So minus 1 plus 5 adds to be plus 4 and multiplies to be negative 5. So there we go. So no big surprise. See, it's the other two players. You know, it's going to be x minus 1, x plus 5 minus 1 plus 5. Okay, no big surprise. It's the other denominators. Okay, now this is an equals problem. Because this has an equal sign, you see, I'm going to just multiply through the top only. I don't have to do top and bottom. I'm not really thinking top and bottom. I'm thinking left and right of the equal sign. So I'm going to multiply through by the common denominator, x minus 1, x plus 5, x minus 1, x plus 5, x minus 1, x plus 5. Cancel, cancel. So that brings down just 4x minus 4. Cancel, cancel. 2 and x minus 1 come down. Cancel, cancel. 2 and x plus 5. Notice all denominators are gonzo. So we have no more fractions. That's nice. That's why we multiplied through by the common denominator. Because we have an equal sign, we're allowed to do the same thing to the left and the right. Multiply by that common denominator. All right, where are we going from here? Gather like terms. Distribute here. 2x minus 2. Distribute here. 2x plus 10, so 4x plus 2x is 6x. Minus 4 minus 2 is minus 6. Is 2x plus 10. We have x's on opposite sides, so subtract 2x. That'll get us what? 4x minus 6, these cancel, is 10. We're almost done with this, and I'll go to a fresh screen. 4x minus 6 is 10. This is the conclusion to number 7 here. And now we just add the 6. So we get 4x is 16. Last step, divide by 4. X is 4. There's our answer to that original problem. X is 4. That was a long one. Okay, so number 8 here. Company found that experienced surveyor can survey a roadbed in 4 hours. An apprentice needs 9 hours. If they work together, how long? Well, working together, we have a formula for working together. It's 1 over A. I want to put this on your full sheet of notes for the final exam. 1 over A plus 1 over B is 1 over together. So put that in your full sheet of notes for the final. So 1 over A, so 1 over 4, right, because one of them's 4, the other's 9, plus 1 over 9 is 1 over together. Together is what we're trying to find, x. So, okay, so there's our equation. Now, how do we solve that equation? Well, we got to find the LCD, which is multiply all those together, 36x. 4 times 9 times x, 36x. And you write 36x, 36x, 36x. Then you cross cancel. So I'm multiplying through by 36x, then 4 goes into 36 9 times, so we have 9x. 9 goes into 36 4 times, so we have 4x. X cancels x, we have 36. So that's 13x is 36. Last step, divide by 13. X is 36/13. They want a mixed number. So do you know how to make that into a, to make that into a mixed number, you divide the bottom into the top, goes in there 2 times, 26, remainder 10. So it's 2 and 10/13. Okay, so this one is number 9 here, is a complex fraction. We call it complex. So we want to we want to simplify it. So how do we simplify it? You basically have to multiply top and bottom by the LCD. See how we have a y squared and a y as our denominators? So what's the LCD? What's the common denominator then? Y squared, huh? So multiply by y squared. Oops, I'm not writing that very neatly. So y squared here and y squared there, like all of them. Okay, and then it's going to cancel here completely. Here it's going to be 2 times y squared plus 8. Now here this y will cancel one of those, leaving y to the first, 8y. Here it's 1 times y squared, just y squared. And here they cancel, so minus 16. Okay, good so far. We simplified that. Now it's a regular fraction, right? Instead of fractions over fractions. Now, can we do any more from there? Yeah, actually we can. Let me get this out of the way here. The top, we can take out what's in common. These two terms have in common 2y. Leaves y plus 4. Boom, boom. The bottom, this is a double-double, y, 4, 4. So y plus 4, y minus 4. Didn't write that very neatly. Because plus 4 times minus 4 is minus 16. Okay, can we simplify that at all? Yeah, that cancels that. Y plus 4 cancels y plus 4, so we're left with 2y over y minus 4. There we go. Okay, so number 10 here. They're giving me these 2 points, and they want me to write the equation. Well, so writing the equation, if step 1, you got to get the slope. Slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now, what do we mean by all that? y2, x2 stuff. We mean this is x1, y1, x2, y2. So we're going to take y2, this one, minus. Let me remind you there's a minus here and here, top and bottom, y2 minus y1. Here's y1. And on the bottom, x2 minus x1. So we got a couple double negatives. You know what those do. These double negatives become positive. So minus 1 plus 2 minus 12 plus 8. That's positive 1 over minus 4. So there's the slope. We've got that. Now what do we do with that slope next? So now in step 2, you write slope equals, it's almost the same equation we wrote right here, except you're going to put plane y and plane x in the front, minus y1 and x1. Or you could just leave blanks. How about I just say it that way? Just y minus blank over x minus blank. And so it's a little different, right? Instead of y2 and x2, we just put plane y and plane x, and we leave blanks in the back. Grab your slope, bring it over, and put it here. I'm going to put that minus sign on the top. You don't have to. It's might be a good idea. It doesn't matter really, bottom or top, it's all the same. But it's a good habit, I think, just to put minuses on the top. That way you won't lose them. And then we got y minus over x minus. Now what are we going to put in the back of the blanks? Well, you're going to pick one of the points. It doesn't matter which one. Come up here to the points. You could pick the first one or the second. I'll just grab the first one. This is the x value and the y value. So the minus 8 is the x and the minus 2 is the y. Like that. And so let's simplify that now. That's minus 1/4 is y double negative plus 2 double negative over x plus 8. We're getting close. Let's go to a fresh screen now. This is wrapping up number 10. Minus 1/4 is y plus 2 over x plus 8. And we go diagonal, diagonal. Minus 1 times x plus 8 is 4 times y plus 2. Distribute. Minus x minus 8 4y plus 8. We're almost there. What do they want now? They want x's first, then y's, then numbers. So I'm going to have to grab this 4y and bring it over here. So that'll be minus x minus 4y. And grab that minus 8 and put it over there. So it'll be a plus 8 plus the other 8. So then that's minus x minus 4y is 16. There's one last thing. See how they don't want any negatives in front of any of these guys? No negatives. So I'm going to have to make my equation multiply through by a negative 1 to get rid of that. So that'll be plus x plus 4y minus 16. You can always multiply through by negative 1 or any number really, right? As long as you do the same thing to both sides of an equation, it won't change anything. So there's the equation. X plus 4y is minus 16. X, which one is it? X plus 4y is minus 16. Looks like it's this one here, huh? There it is. We got it. Okay. Number 11, graph the linear equation. So that's y equals 3x plus 6. Remember how to graph a linear equation, which means a line? You start at the number at the back. That's up 6 in the middle. So that'd be right there. There's your first dot. And now you just need one more dot. How do you get your other dot? 3 over 1. This is rise over run. So we go up 3, 1, 2, 3, over 1. There's my second dot. Up 3, over 1, rise over run. And then you just connect the two dots. There's the graph of our line. Okay, number 12. We're supposed to graph y equals minus the square root of x plus 3 minus 1. Now what's that? Well, absolute value graph, remember, is a V graph, which hits at the origin, normally, like that, you know? But ours is going to be moved around a little bit. How so? How is it moved around? Well, remember, whenever we have numbers in parentheses or absolute value, same thing, we always take the opposite, and then the number on the outside, we take the same. So in other words, the center is going to be opposite of plus 3, minus 3, same as minus 1, minus 1. So it's going to be back, so the center is going to be back 3, down 1, like that. So it's going to be right there, and then it's going to be, now this negative right here means it's a V shape going down. So it's going to be back 3, down 1, center, V shape going down. Which graph looks like that? D is the one. So remember, whenever we have numbers in parentheses or absolute values, we do the opposite, and the number out here we do the same. Opposite of plus 3 becomes minus 3, same as minus 1. And then we get the center, and the negative right here means the V shape goes down instead of up. So a good one to put on your 3x5 card, or your full sheet of notes, I mean, for the final, is how to find the center, opposite, same for absolute value. And the fact that it goes down because of the negative in the front. Okay, number 13. Now, this one's pretty complex. We're supposed to graph, first off, this equation. So y plus 3x greater than or equal to 0. You always want to get y alone, so grab this and jump it over. Like that. Okay, now how do we graph that kind of thing? Well, you need a number out here, which is there's no number off to the right, so put a 0. That's your starting dot, which is right there at the origin. And then this is your slope. Put it over 1, rise over run. So I'm going to go down 3 over 1, down 1, 2, 3 over 1. So right there's my second dot. So I will connect those two dots like that. So there's that line. See how I did that? I went, I started at 0, because there was no number off to the right. So that's your starting dot, just 0. And then from 0, went down 3 over 1, found my other dot, connect the dots, okay? And now let's take the second equation, 4x minus 6y less or equal to 12. This one's going to be a little harder. Let's grab the 4x and jump it to the other side. Trying to get y alone, right? We always get y alone to graph these lines. So that'd be minus 6y less than or equal to minus 4x plus 12. And now, what do? We divide through by minus 6. I'm dividing by a negative, notice. So when you divide by a negative, flip the symbol. So I'm going to need to take that symbol and flip it the other way. So y, let me get a new pen here. So y is now greater than or equal to. Now right here, these are two negatives, so they're going to be positive. Reduce, divide top and bottom by 2. That'll be 2/3 x, and then positive over negative is minus 2. Okay, so let's graph that one. We start at the minus 2. All right, come back up here. Start right there at minus 2. And then this is rise over run. Go up 2 over 3, be right there. Right, so what I did, I went up 2 over 1, 2, 3. So got my two dots for that line. Connect the dots. So there's that line. And my last line is going to be y less than or equal to 7. So that means you hit the y-axis right at 7. So that'd be right here. Oops, kind of going a little too low, huh? So hit the y-axis right at 7. Like that. And you're supposed to shade, what does it say? Now it's time for shading. We have to shade. It says y less, so you want to shade below that one. The other two lines both say above, don't they? Greater, greater. Remember, it's always about when y's alone at the end. So you look right here when y's alone at the end. You don't look in the beginning. Same thing here, right here when y's alone. Y greater, y greater. So above those two lines and below the blue line. So the shading is going to be right in there. It's above the other two lines, and it's below the blue line. So there's our shading section for that one.